Welcome everyone, this is Paul from SpanishWithPaul.com, and this week we're going to look at doing two things. The first of those is that I'll show you how to express that you're fed up or tired of doing something. So for example, I'm fed up of waiting for them. I'm fed up of telling you the same thing. I'm tired of hearing the same excuses. Now, it's all very human to be fed up of one thing or another, so I'm going to show you how native Spanish speakers express that. Secondly, we're going to incorporate some of what we learned previously back into this lesson. And this will allow us to build into some pretty long sentences, which will be great for your Spanish and also great for your confidence. Now, as with all the lessons I do, I'm going to assume that you've already been through the 10-part free mini course that's also on YouTube. If you haven't, I'll leave a link to it in the description box. So that's all coming up next. If you'd like to download the course books for all my YouTube lessons and to get a free account on Spanish with Paul, simply click the link in the description box below this video or visit SpanishWithPaul.com. You can also subscribe to my channel and get a free lesson from me every Monday. To express I'm fed up or I'm tired of, the sound in Spanish is harto. Notice that we have a silent H, so the pronunciation really starts from the A, harto. Now as a male, I will finish this or end it in an O, so harto. However, if you are female, you will end it in an A, so it could be either harto or harta. Now this word has its roots in Latin. It goes all the way back to feeling uncomfortably full with food. So this is where the expression of being fed up originates from. Now to this sound, we're going to add, of course, I am, and in this case, this will be estoy. So I'm fed up would be either estoy harto or estoy harta. Now for me, I'm going to be using estoy harto, but obviously if you are a female, you will finish it with harta. Now this expression is typically followed by the word of, which of course in Spanish is de. So the full phrase that we'll be working with, I'm fed up of, can be either estoy harto de or estoy harta de. It all depends. So to that now we can add full verbs. For example, the verb to wait is esperar. So to express I'm fed up of waiting, it would be estoy harto de esperar. Naturally, if you are female, you will say estoy harta de esperar. Now to express for her, we're not going to use any word to represent for in Spanish. It works entirely different with this verb. So the pronoun for her is actually la. So you're simply going to hook or tag on that pronoun to the end of the verb. So to wait for her is simply esperarla. So how would you say I'm tired of waiting for her? Estoy harto de esperarla. The pronoun for him is lo. So again, we're going to do the same thing. How would you say I'm tired of waiting for him? Estoy harto de esperarlo. The pronoun for them can be either los or las. Los is typically used for a group of all males or a mixed group, male and female, while las is for a group of all females. So let's imagine that we're referring to a mixed group, therefore we're going to be using los. How would you say I'm fed up of waiting for them? Estoy harto de esperarlos. Now, if it's not a person that you're referring to, you still won't use the word for in Spanish. Let's imagine that we're waiting for the bus, which is el camión. So to express I'm fed up of waiting for the bus, again, we will not use the word for or any representation of it in Spanish. How would you say that? I'm fed up of waiting for the bus. Estoy harto de esperar el camión. The word for an answer in Spanish sounds very much like the word response in English. It's una respuesta. Una respuesta. How would you say, I'm tired of waiting for an answer? Estoy harto de esperar una respuesta. Let's switch to a different verb. The verb to fight is pelear. Pelear. So how would you say, I'm tired of fighting? Estoy harto de pelear. To express with you in a familiar way, so a friend or family member, how would you say that? Contigo. Now say, I'm tired of fighting with you. Estoy harto de pelear contigo. To express over everything or for everything, it would simply be por todo. So how would you say, I'm tired of fighting with you over everything? Estoy harto de pelear contigo por todo. What's the verb to say or to tell? Decir. And to express to tell you will simply take decir and add on the pronoun of te. So combined, you get the sound of decirte, to tell you. How would you say, I'm fed up of telling you? Estoy harto de decirte. The thing in Spanish is la cosa. And to express the same thing, it would be la misma cosa. How would you say, I'm fed up of telling you the same thing? Estoy harto de decirte la misma cosa. What's the word for always? We did this in previous lessons. Siempre. Now to express something like, I'm fed up of always telling you the same thing, what we have to do here in Spanish to make it sound natural is change the position of the word always. So what you will literally say is, I'm fed up of telling you always the same thing. How would you do that? Estoy harto de decirte siempre la misma cosa. A very useful phrase is over and over again. This in Spanish is una y otra vez. Vez stands for time. So what you are literally saying is one and another time. Una y otra vez. This again is how you express over and over again. Una y otra vez. Let's use it. How would you say, I'm fed up of always telling you the same thing over and over again? Estoy harto de decirte siempre la misma cosa una y otra vez. Hopefully you remembered to put the word siempre in the correct place. Once again, how do you say the answer? La respuesta. I wonder if you can figure out how to say the same answer. La misma respuesta. So how would you say, I'm fed up of the same answer over and over again? Estoy harto de la misma respuesta una y otra vez. If you want to say something like, I'm fed up of getting the same answer, there isn't any verb to get in Spanish, or at least not in the way that we typically use it in English. So instead, we're going to replace I'm fed up of getting the same answer with I'm fed up of receiving the same answer. This is what they will do in Spanish. Now, the verb to receive is recibir. Recibir. So how would you say, I'm fed up of getting the same answer? Estoy harto de recibir la misma respuesta. What about, I'm fed up of getting the same answer over and over again? Estoy harto de recibir la misma respuesta una y otra vez. Aside from saying that you are fed up, you can also ask someone if they are fed up. To do this, we switch out of estoy and into estás. So depending on who you are talking to, the question of are you fed up could be either estás harto or estás harta. Speaking to a male, you will say harto. However, asking this question to a female, you will switch into estás harta. So let's assume for the rest of this lesson that we are asking Olivia. Okay, so we're always going to be using estás harta. Now, of course, when asking questions in Spanish, the word order does not change. You simply use the intonation of your voice to make it clear that you're asking a question instead of making a statement. So, with that in mind, how would you ask, are you fed up? ¿Estás harta? What about this? Are you fed up of waiting? ¿Estás harta de esperar? Are you tired of waiting for her? ¿Estás harta de esperarla? Do you remember the word for the bus? El camión. Now say, are you tired of waiting for the bus? ¿Estás harta de esperar el camión? What's the word for an answer or a response? Una respuesta. Now ask, are you fed up of waiting for an answer? ¿Estás harta de esperar una respuesta? What's the verb to say or to tell? Decir. If we take the pronoun of le and we add it on to the decir, we get decirle. Decirle. And this means telling to him or to her. Either way, normally which one is made clear in the context of the situation, of the conversation. So, how would you say, are you fed up of telling him? ¿Estás harta de decirle? How do you express the same thing? La misma cosa. Now ask, are you tired of telling him the same thing? ¿Estás harta de decirle la misma cosa? Do you remember how to say over and over again? Una y otra vez. Literally one and another time. Una y otra vez. Now ask, are you tired of telling him the same thing over and over again? ¿Estás harta de decirle la misma cosa una y otra vez? The verb to listen or to hear is escuchar. Escuchar. How would you say, I'm fed up of listening? Estoy harto de escuchar. Once again, if you are female, you will say estoy harta de escuchar. The word for the excuse is la excusa. La excusa. To express the same excuse, we're going to use what we had before. So do you remember how to say the same thing? la misma cosa. So how would you say the same excuse? La misma excusa. To make this plural, you simply add an S onto the end of every single word. So the same excuses in Spanish would be las mismas excusas. Las mismas excusas. How would you say, I'm fed up of hearing the same excuses? Estoy harto de escuchar las mismas excusas. From a previous lesson, we used the phrase or the saying of it's late. Do you remember how to say that? Es tarde. Now say it's late and I'm fed up of hearing the same excuses. Es tarde y estoy harto de escuchar las mismas excusas. How do you express over and over again? Una y otra vez. Let's add that. It's late and I'm fed up of hearing the same excuses over and over again. Es tarde y estoy harto de escuchar las mismas excusas una y otra vez. What I'd like to do now is push you into some even longer sentences by incorporating some of the things that we went through in the last 3 lessons I uploaded. Now, 3 weeks ago, we looked at how to express this idea of let me. The sound for that was déjame. To express let me see, you would add on the verb to see at the end of that, so it became déjame ver. Let me see. How do you express I can? Puedo. If I can. Si puedo. Now say, let me see if I can. Déjame ver si puedo. What's the verb to do or to make? Hacer. To do it. Hacerlo. Now say, let me see if I can do it. Déjame ver si puedo hacerlo. Now try this. I'm fed up of waiting. Let me see if I can do it. Estoy harto de esperar. Déjame ver si puedo hacerlo. Something we used from our mini course series was myself, and this can be either yo mismo if you are male or yo misma if you are female. So of course in this examples I'm going to be using yo mismo. How would you say, I'm fed up of waiting, let me see if I can do it myself? Estoy harto de esperar. Déjame ver si puedo hacerlo yo mismo. Naturally, if you are female, you will be switching into the ah sound in 2 places here. So it would be estoy harta de esperar. Déjame ver si puedo hacerlo yo misma. A verb we also used in that lesson was to try. Do you remember what that was? Intentar. To express to try it, you add lo onto the end, so it becomes intentarlo. Intentarlo. How would you say, let me try it? Déjame intentarlo. Another phrase we had was my way. Do you remember how to say that? A mi manera. So how would you say, let me try it my way? Déjame intentarlo a mi manera. Now try this. Let me try it my way. I'm fed up of waiting for them. Déjame intentarlo a mi manera. Estoy harto de esperarlos. In a lesson from 2 weeks ago, we used an expression of don't worry. Do you remember what that was? Remember that it was important to put the stress under the you here where I've underlined it. So, no te preocupes. How would you say, don't worry, I can do it myself? No te preocupes. Puedo hacerlo yo mismo or yo misma. What about this? Don't worry, I can do it myself. I'm fed up of waiting for them. No te preocupes. Puedo hacerlo yo mismo. Estoy harto de esperarlos. Once again, here we have 2 places where you will switch into the a sound if you are a female. So it becomes no te preocupes, puedo hacerlo yo misma. Estoy harta de esperarlos. Finally, last week we looked at this idea of getting into or out of things. And this could be either in a physical or metaphorical sense. So let's incorporate some of that into this lesson now. We're going to use this sense of speaking about things metaphorically. So to get into, that key phrase was meterme en. Meterme en. How do you say I don't want? No quiero. I don't want to get into. No quiero meterme en. Do you remember the word for an argument? It sounded a lot like the word for a discussion in English. Una discusión. So how would you say I don't want to get into an argument? No quiero meterme en una discusión. What's with you? Contigo. Now say it's late and I don't want to get into an argument with you. Es tarde y no quiero meterme en una discusión contigo. Do you remember the verb to listen or to hear? Escuchar. How would you say I'm fed up of hearing? Estoy harto de escuchar. What's the word for the excuse? La excusa. The excuses. Las excusas. The same excuses. Las mismas excusas. How would you say I'm fed up of hearing the same excuses? Estoy harto de escuchar las mismas excusas. Now try this. It's late and I don't want to get into an argument with you. I'm fed up of hearing the same excuses. Es tarde y no quiero meterme en una discusión contigo. Estoy harto de escuchar las mismas excusas. How do you say over and over again? Una y otra vez. Now try this. It's late and I don't want to get into an argument with you. I'm fed up of hearing the same excuses over and over again. Es tarde y no quiero meterme en una discusión contigo. Estoy harto de escuchar las mismas excusas una y otra vez. Alright, so well done. This is how we build into longer sentences and eventually into complete paragraphs in Spanish. We do it by setting up a platform which is very secure, and we gradually expand it outwards. So the ground underneath you always feels solid. And this is extremely important because otherwise, when the pressure is on and you're in front of native Spanish speakers, things can very quickly fall apart on you if you don't have this solid structure underneath to depend on. Now, if you'd like access to lessons that I have never posted on YouTube, you can get a free account on SpanishWithPaul.com, either by clicking the link that I have in the description box or simply by visiting SpanishWithPaul.com. Naturally, you can also subscribe to my channel. This way you'll be notified every time I upload a new lesson. I look forward to being back with you all again next week. So until then, keep practicing, and I'll see you next time.